Hi, I'm Shelley Maurer,
And I'm Cher Emmerich. Welcome to Life Lessons from Pickleball,
where we engage with pickleball players from around the world about life on and off the court.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome, everyone, to Life Lessons from Pickleball. Oh my gosh, today we are so lucky to have with us Rajul, known as Raj Chikkalingaiah. Raj brings a powerful combination of athletic discipline, curiosity, and heart to the court.
Raj, you were raised in Corvallis, Oregon. You started playing tennis at age 5 and competed at a national level before taking your talents to collegiate tennis at Whitman College.
And you're currently playing pickleball in local open tournaments as well as professional qualifying events across the country. And you've recently started coaching pickleball.
But before we start talking about pickleball, you started playing tennis at 5. Wow. Can you take us back to what drew you to tennis in the first place and what that journey looked like for you growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Really appreciate you having me on. And yeah, looking forward to our conversation. What brought me to pickleball or to tennis at age 5? Well, my parents, first of all, I'd say. I was already a pretty active kid growing up, and I was always on the run, and I was moving, running before I could walk, essentially. So I guess they were like, yeah, let's put a racket in your hand and see what happens. And I loved all sports, but I especially sports with round balls, like tennis balls, squash balls. So I played a myriad amount of sports growing up, but that's what kind of led me to it, and I was hooked ever since.
But 5 years old, Raj, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Five is a little young. Yeah, maybe I had a ping pong paddle in my hand at that time, and then graduated to the heavier racket sports. But
And so, how were you introduced, and what was going on in your life when you were introduced to pickleball?
introduced to pickleball, I was introduced for a long time. I was kind of in college. I kind of found out what the concept was, shorter tennis court, kind of still the same mechanics and all that stuff. But I kind of played once or twice, maybe when I was 18. And then, after moving to Seattle after college, I went with my tennis gear to the Green Lake pickleball courts down here. And I had no idea, but there was just hundreds of people playing, and I was like, man, I can't even get on a court to play tennis. This is awful. Like, what are these paddles and soft balls and what is this sport? I had the disdain at the time, and then I got hooked. Someone lent me a paddle, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Isn't that funny? That tends to be the way. I mean,
Yeah.
most tennis players are not keen on and we are noisy, and and we take over the courts. But once people try it, it's like they're hooked most of the time.
Yeah, it's the new thing. It's the sport's been around for a while, but I guess it's grown in popularity so much in the last few years, even really after the pandemic. It felt like, but
Oh yeah. So how did your competitive tennis background shape the way you've approached pickleball?
oh, it's huge. I think that's one of the things I'm kind of feel pretty blessed and lucky to have played competitively for such a long time because you notice through the different sports, kind of a similarity in mindset and same principles of how what it means to compete, what it means to compete well, and you get the same butterflies and nervous feelings like in all my competitive
Right.
sports I've played. Not just pickleball. I've played like squash growing up, tennis, kind of at the same similar level, and it's taught me a whole bunch of things. Just that you can take, outside of the court, like what it means to, your relationship with nerves and fear, your internal environment versus your external environment, or detaching from a result. It's really big. Like, if there's a big life event, okay, how can I accept and detach from the result? And what does success mean to me? Sometimes it's not winning the point. Sometimes it's how I'm performing in the point. So I think like those type of things, it's huge. And then, controlling your anger, controlling your fear, controlling your internal environment, and then responding to your external environment. And then for me, it's like an expression, it's like, I like the athleticism. I like how my body feels when I, generate a slice shot or a volley. And Yeah, and again, like in terms of the logistics, a lot of it translates from tennis. Like forehand, backhand, drives, volleys. They're pretty similar. So, but I enjoy the mental side of it. And the competition thing. Um, it's more of a mental thing for me, and I gain a lot of satisfaction out of it.
It's absolutely a mental thing. So, have you learned something about yourself that kind of surprised you in your life of competing in sports?
What has surprised me? Well, I've really, I'm surprised I'm playing pickleball, to be honest. I mean, I think I told you mentioned earlier that I had some kind of not disdain, but it was like, oh, what is this? Is this even a sport? Like, it's like, and I've learned that, I think in life in general, I've kind of just, as I've gotten older, sort of matured into a more secure sense of self. I think like tapping into what you enjoy doing. And I was like, this is really fun. So let me just keep going on this. And I think probably you guys I've heard on other episodes, you could probably speak to this. You didn't know where the pickleball would take you, like you started one at one time, and then it just, all these experiences, all these relationships with people that you've had that you probably wouldn't know, kind of came about through just kind of, enjoying the moment type of thing. So for me,
Yeah.
I really, I think a big, huge stepping stone learning experience for me is like, especially coming out of college and then playing tennis so competitively for so long. I thought I was going to do that professionally, and I didn't really have a vision afterwards, because I would be spending like hours and hours drilling, and then we would talk about what tournaments. Like my dad and I would just travel around the country playing. We were talking about what futures events we would play. That's a step below like the ATP and stuff. And then I just got, not that I was that good at that level, but I also just kind of got burnt out with it. And so it's kind of a um, new adventure for me, And so, but I was a little bit lost at the time. I was like, I didn't really know kind of, for a career what I would want to do. And it was a little scary doing something that, pickleball, like that's not necessarily what socially attracted, in terms of like a profession or something like that. So it was a nice reminder. It was like, oh, like be brave, follow your kind of gut instinct. And so that's kind of a big thing, what I've learned from it, because a lot of goods come out of it. So
Follow your joy.
Follow
Yes.
your joy, follow
Yeah.
your bliss.
easier
Yeah,
said than done, but yeah.
Yeah.
it is, especially
Absolutely.
like you said. I mean, tennis is highly respected.
Mhm.
Pickleball, it's taken a while for the respect. And so I can appreciate if you were in this professional line and then you switch sports to one that's not quite as highly regarded yet, although
Yeah.
now it is. I can appreciate that that would be a little hard on the ego.
It's a little hard on the ego, but it's also just a really good practice, and caring, like valuing what, not valuing too much what people think, or caring what the right people think, and
Yeah,
or caring just as heavily about what you think of the situation. And the reality is, I mean, if you enjoy it and you kind of exude that, like people will see that, and they'll be drawn to it, and they won't, no one's thinking, oh, you're playing pickleball for that, and then they forget about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, and that I can't speak for everyone, but that was definitely a maturing moment for me. Um, but pickleball is pretty respected now as a sport. I
oh
think
totally.
it's completely
Oh,
changed. Yeah,
completely. Yeah, now I mean, it's right up there, and
yeah,
happily so.
yeah. I mean, the barrier for it's really cool, because the barrier for entry is pretty low in terms of other sports. Like the ball is a little bit slower. It's easier to pick up. The community is
Yeah.
really cool because you can play pickup pickleball. Like as if pick up basketball, but you can't really do that too much with tennis. And it's still hard to perfect. Once everybody starts getting the same level, then it just becomes like anything else, right? To master it, to perfect it, it takes a lot of skill, especially if people are the same level as you playing it. So yeah.
Thank goodness for coaches like you. So
Yeah.
what inspired you to start coaching?
Oh, I've been putting that off for a while, like the coach thing, because um, I've always had a feeling like I wanted to work. I've always wanted to work with people. I think coaching's such a people, it's a people business. It's
Mhm.
I like mentoring. I like finding out. just working with people, communicating. I mean, one of my values is like building relationships, having like shared experiences, adventure and stuff like that. Mindsets, the psychology of it all is really interesting to me. And I did a little bit of mentoring in college, just like as a chemistry, like teaching assistant and stuff like that. And I taught tennis a little bit, but not too much. And um, but I've always got great satisfaction out of, helping people kind of maximize their potential and finding out what best ways they think, and then seeing that like when somebody gets it, just being like, oh, so that's super satisfying to me. And I just thought this was the right time. I mean, I'm playing at this stage the best pickleball I've been playing. I've been traveling around playing tournaments. I think I can take a lot of what I learned. It doesn't come from pickleball. It comes from just years of, doing tennis academies and tennis coaching and traveling around the world, like to Spain to just like get for a serve coach, like stuff like this. And I feel like I can kind of bring that to the fold, and it's just really satisfying. And I think I really enjoy it. So it's a new adventure, and it's definitely difficult for sure. It's not easy, but I enjoy the aspect of, like finding out you can't teach the same thing to the same person in the same way. So it's all completely new. Every person's different, right?
That's what I was going to say is you're so skilled at just watching the players and knowing what they need to do, and the way you individualize the way you speak to each of us. It's not just like one way, like you said. So you're really good at that.
Shelley, you're too kind. Oh my God. I'm about to hang up the
True.
podcast. No.
No, she was even saying that before. She said, "Oh,
Yeah.
Cher, he is just such a terrific coach." And it's
Yeah.
your person to person. I mean, you have
Yeah.
such a heart. There's no question about that. And you have
Yeah.
a emotional intelligence, which if we have that on the court, that's a big plus. And then to use your heart, your emotional intelligence, and then your skill, and you put all that together in a coach. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Well, that's very nice of you to say. I mean, I think it makes it so much easier when you're working with really fun and really lovely people who want to learn, and just have fun. I think that's like the biggest thing. I've
And
been lucky with like people I've worked with for sure, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's too
Well,
nice. I don't know what to do. Go take tissues and wipe my tears away. Joy.
I want to go back to earlier when you said, talking about the mental strategies, and you were talking about, if you have something going on in your day or how you can disassociate that and just be on the court and play. Like, what are some skills? What are some ways that you do that?
Oh man, I love this conversation. This is like my jam. I love talking about this. I don't have this like mastered by any means, but it's something that just fascinates me because it's like I've noticed in my competition just changing your mindset just a little bit. Like everyone wants to play loose, right? Like everyone wants to play free and play loose, but you kind of have to figure out what are the tools that can unlock that for you. Like sometimes people say, okay, it's breathing. Like, okay, let me just take a deep breath right before the point starts and then go. But it's not a blueprint for everyone. It's like so I found for me, like I was doing an example. I was playing a tournament, the Washington State Open, which was this. It's held in Everett area in the Greater Seattle area.
Yeah.
And I was playing with one of my partners, Daniel Colon, great pickleball player, and really fun to play with. And we've been playing together for some time. The week following that tournament, we were in a huge slump. And the last few tournaments we've played together, we were getting tight. I think we weren't. We were kind of letting the result. Obviously, you're playing tight, so you're like, I want to win this, and then you kind of end up missing balls early, and you get down like in a game to 15, you'll get down like 13-4. And then you'll start playing loose, but by that point it's a little bit too late, and then they win and you lose to people you shouldn't lose to, and it's the worst feeling, right?
When you're saying playing tight, you just mean like you're just physically tight? Is that what you mean? Like
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm like, my
nervous?
palms are
Okay.
sweating. I'm nervous. Yeah,
Okay.
playing tight. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to miss, and so I end up missing more.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to hit a ball that's slightly goes over the net, so it's not attackable, but I'm a little bit my body's physically tight, so I'll lob it up and then they'll smash it, and you're like,
Yeah.
I could have, this is not resembling my actual play. Like,
Right.
and everybody has those moments, but we were in that slump for like a week prior to that. We didn't win a match in our practice. I had a huge group of guys that went in practice with the time before, really good players. But we were like middle of the pack in the level, and we should have won a lot of the matches, and we didn't at all. So that was just going into the tournament. So we had one phone call. I remember talking to him like the day before, and I was like, let's just define, like, the reason why we were missing is because we were so attached to the result. So it's obvious, okay, you want to detach. Let's change the rules of success. Like, what does that mean? And we were like, okay, rules of success are just going to be, let's just be really aggressive from the get-go. And let's just get all our nerves out. And even if we are nervous, it doesn't matter if we miss the ball. It doesn't matter if we miss the net. We're just going to drive it more, because easier to drive it when you're tight and nervous.
Yes.
Dink it, drop it, if you're talking pickleball terms. I'm sure you two know that or like experience that. So even if we missed, we would decide, okay, how do we, so that's what success means, right? And then how do we make sure that we stay in that mindset? We have to do constant reminders. So we'll be if somebody rips it, like my partner, Daniel Cologne, rips the ball and misses, I'll be like, great job, next time, let's go, and celebrate as if that was successful, because that is successful. And if you do that, we did that 3 or 4 times, and we started to just feel it get loose. And the reality is, if you're playing loose, you kind of, you drop to the level of your actual performance, on that day. Yeah. So even the losses, when we lost, and we didn't lose that much. We got third. We did the best we've ever done. We got bronze.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We made it out of our really hard pool. But the way we did it that's what was really, really satisfying to me, because that would be like a lesson that I can take outside of the theater of pickleball, right? Like, I can be like, okay, take a situation, and then what does success mean in this situation? Like, if I'm like, okay, I introduce myself to someone, I'm really nervous. And I'm really nervous. Why am I nervous? Because I care what they think. Well, maybe I change the rules of success, and the rules of success might mean I just want to say XYZ. And so once I say that XYZ thing, I'm like, okay, that was successful. And so I tried practicing that kind of thing in other areas, And so that's just like a little bit of the mindset stuff that I love. So it's not just about winning or losing. That's really about like what works. And for me and Daniel Cologne specifically, what worked really well for us was to just hype each other up, even if we lost the point, no matter what, if we were aggressive and loose. And we ended up playing, it's not a coincidence, we played the best we've ever played.
Well, I just love that so much, because like you say, if you're in a tournament or in a game and all you're focusing on is the point, and you keep losing the point, you get tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
And it gets worse and worse. But if you change the idea of success, I love that. So even if you lost the point, you were successful because you drove it, and you felt up. That was amazing.
Yeah. And even
That's
if you,
such a great tip.
Such a great tip.
Yeah. And it's not for everyone, but like, if you, and if you lose, I mean, leaving the losses feel good that way, because you're like, I did what was in my control, because you're controlling what you can control, like the outcome. Yes. And you have more respect for your opponent. You're like, man, oh wow, that's crazy, they did that, and I know I'm playing completely loose and free, so they must be good on them. If they weren't better and they won on the day, they won on the day. And if you played really well, and then you're like, okay, they're better today, and that's fine. So it's a good, peaceful way of being. I think it's kind of healthy.
I think that is fantastic. You said it's not for everybody. Actually, I think that is a universal recommendation or life lesson, that it's important that we each define for ourselves what is success for ourselves. We're not holding it some other person's vision of what success means. I'm not trying to live up to somebody else's expectations, and you're doing that in your life as well as on the court. I think that's huge. I love that idea, and celebrate whatever that success is, even if and you're not attached to the outcome. Yeah. That's what you let go of.
And it's hard, right? Like sometimes I know when, things don't go super well when you're playing from a competing standpoint, and you start getting nervous. I think a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. They get uncomfortable with those thoughts and with the feeling of, oh man, now I'm nervous. Oh, I'm starting to feel nervous. But it's like, it's almost that reframing of, no, that nervousness is okay. But you can also you don't have to lean fully on that. You can be like, okay, I expect that I'm feeling this way. But I choose to define success as this, even if I'm feeling nervous. That is success. The success is like maybe ripping the ball or, hyping my partner up, or something like this. But yeah, I find a lot of joy in that. I get a lot of satisfaction because I feel like I can, it's that personal growth piece, right? It's like, it's just a theater in which you're operating.
Wow. Do you have any other wisdom that you've learned from being in those professional qualifying events?
Other wisdom. I don't know
That was a
about
good
wisdom,
one.
but I'm talking just whatever is on my mind. I think we mentioned, like, I think I heard in one of your other podcasts, you were talking about sort of connection and connecting with people. And I think having the other aspect of what pickleball and similar in doubles tennis, but if you're having one team member, finding out how they tick, the chemistry with you is really, really important. And one of those examples, I remember I was in Mesa. I played the Mesa tournament last year. It was just a 5-0 event, but it was I played with a kid from Iowa that I've never played with before, and I got set up by a friend. It was a complete blind date, and we never played any points together. And immediately we were on the same page, and I realized, like, oh man, I really like a partner who's energetic, likes to talk strategy with me, and I don't have to worry about like building up, or so it turned out that he played like me in how he conducted himself, like, on the court. And he was a lefty, I was a righty, and it just was really good. And we won the whole thing, 50 teams.
Wow.
We didn't lose.
Wow.
So that was a really big aha moment for me. It's just like, energy is everything, right? Chemistry is everything. Even if the player is worse than you, or you might have a better quality of partner in terms of level, that chemistry on the court, because of all those factors of that mindset stuff and getting down and momentum and all of this stuff, you have to be mentally strong. That's what's and it comes easier with people who've competed for a long time. But some people, if they just get into competition, they don't understand that, like, no, it's not your attitude, your body language, how you present to your opponent, looking across from you. Do I have this guy beat? Is he slumping over after I hit the ball, like hit a winner? Is he looking down at his shoes? Do I have him that way? Or, oh man, this person's unshakable, because even if I had a winner, they're being even more aggressive. It's like, oh, and I'm it's not over till it's over, right? So,
Right.
It's so much more than just who you're playing with. It's just the chemistry behind it and the relationship you two have.
So do you actually typically when you're starting a tournament, do you strategize with your partner?
Yes. If it's a new partner, I'll talk like, hey, how do you like to play? Or what things do you like? Do you like to talk strategy? Do you like to meet to high five? How do you high five? Right? Because you don't want to get on the court and, you're fist bumping while they're high fiving. And then if I look over and I see somebody doing that, I'm like, oh man, dude, we got this, right? Like, so it's all about, how you present and how you feel comfortable. And, Shelly and I were talking about this earlier about even with who takes what ball, super important. You don't want balls going right between you two. And, and strategy might look like, on the day, I'm missing a lot of my forehand. So maybe I want you to take more of the back, more of on my side of the court, even though it's on my side of the court. Maybe I have you do that. That would be like, strategy stuff. Or like, do you like adjusting after each point? Do you like playing the man or the woman, or do you like playing your game? Right. I'm more of I like to play the opponent and see what's working, and adjust if it doesn't. Like sometimes I'll just lob somebody, and if they're missing, I'll keep lobbing until they beat me with that, and then I'll change something else. So not losing twice, that's a philosophical position to be in, and you want to talk with your partner and say, hey, does that resonate with you, and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, but that's the stuff I love. Like, I enjoy that kind of thing.
It's the mind.
Mind's everything.
The mind is everything.
Is
It is.
everything. So can you give the listeners like, so when you show up at an open play, right? And you're
Mhm.
playing with somebody that you completely don't know,
Yeah.
right? What besides, who's going to take the forehand? What are some other strategies that you should just talk to people about? Basics.
Basic strategy and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, you could say, well, one easy one that, if I'm walking up and I'm playing, the open play down in Green Lake, I'll be like, well, first of all, I'll try to make them feel comfortable and say, hey, by the way, you can take any of these balls, or I'll let you take these balls. I'll start out with what I can give you,
Mhm.
opposed to what, hey, I might want to take this shot or whatever. I don't lead with that ever. And I'll just see. And if I'll read it, if they're like, oh, it sounds good, they might even say, oh, you take all of these balls. And then I haven't even asked that question yet, but they're like, okay. And then it feels comfortable because it's like they gave me what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll start with that. I'll just ask, or ask them like, hey, what side do you prefer to play on?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
there's a lot of stigma behind, the left side, because there's the forehand. So typically the stronger player, it's not always the case at all, but it can be seen that way, that the stronger player plays the left side.
Hmm.
So I'll ask them, hey, what side do you prefer aside? Because if I just walk on the left side, I might, and these are for people that are more at the amateur level that are not used to it as much, but
Hmm.
um, I'll say that. So the whole goal is to make somebody feel comfortable, be personable right away, and just be likable. And because then like things will follow, the strategy and all that stuff will follow. But if you're playing with
Okay.
somebody and you've never played with them before, just let them take more of the shots, lean on that. And if they say, hey, can take more of these, then go for it. Right. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
And
you,
then they'll be loose,
yeah,
yeah,
then they'll
because
be
you,
loose and
loose.
kind. Yeah.
yeah, loose and kind, friendly. I mean, it should be fun, right? At the end of the day,
Right.
it's got to be.
And you're starting with generosity. I
Yeah.
just love that. You're immediately generous and say, what do you want? What do you prefer? What would you? And then everybody doesn't feel like they need to defend themselves. You're already generous, and that's brilliant. And then it creates the chemistry.
I
It's
mean, it
nice.
is like microsurgery, right? So it's got to be intense. But yeah, it's really fun. It's just a fun.
It does change lives.
Yeah, yeah, satisfaction. Actually, I was reading, isn't it? There was like the longest sign of health for like a sport is like a racket sport because it increases the balance. Maybe it's in the amygdala or something like that. I'm not, but it's like keeping that part of the brain sort of alive.
Yep.
Um, so it's healthy.
Yeah, there was a recent article that said that pickleball, in particular, they were talking about, addresses all of the qualities of living. It's the mind, it's the emotion, it's the fast, it's the slow, it's strategy, it's all the things. And then it's
Mhm.
community as well. I mean, it's
Community's
like the
huge,
perfect sport, right? It's
and you
the
can play
perfect.
it till
Any age.
any age.
Little
Yeah.
little ones to nine. How old is
95. Grace.
95?
I mean,
Joyce is 90
Joyce.
Joyce.
and is still competing at 95.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
that was
on.
amazing. I think I was listening to her podcast earlier.
Did you hear
It
that
was at
one?
the
Oh,
Mesa one, right, where she had her happy birthday.
Yes.
Yeah, I
yes,
remember before.
yes. Oh man,
I
yeah,
was
it's
like, oh, I'm going to
amazing.
talk about Mesa, but it's not going to be as cool as that. Just say happy birthday to me, over the.
Well, you won the whole thing. I think that's pretty darn cool
That
with
is pretty
somebody that you
cool.
hadn't played with before and you figured it out right away and had that chemistry and strategy. I love that. So you're starting a graduate program, Raj, that's industrial organizational psychology. Okay, number one, what the heck
What
is
is
that?
that?
And then how does it overlap with the work that you're doing as a coach in pickleball?
So there's a lot of industrial organizational psychology. There's two sides of it. It's basically human behavior, but in a the business like
Oh,
company sort of sense of, and it looks at factors like job satisfaction, motivation, basically human behavior concepts and how it applies to work life balance, performance, which is kind of what I'm really interested in, and team dynamics, stuff like that. It can be looked at as, and there's different avenues. There's recruiting you could do. You could be an organizational consultant. You could, work internally at a company. Um, I've I kind of got into it because I majored in psychology in college, and I didn't really know quite what I wanted to do afterwards. I was potentially going to go the medicine route, and but and only for reasons why just like it thought it was something, you know, prestigious to do, to be honest. And I think I would be really like it honestly, because there's a part of it that's working with people, and I like the science of it. And but yeah, I mean, one of my values is like really enjoy what you do, because I don't want to, like with me, I feel like I would be, you know, if I'm in a cubicle all day, me personally, and that's nothing against anybody that does that, but I know I would just, if I'm a little bit bored, even a little bit bored, I don't get work done, or I don't get anything done. So,
Right.
you know, I want to look at the clock and go, oh man, it's already 5 o'clock, not 30 seconds. What the
Yeah.
heck,
Right.
right? Like that's not. I'm just gonna, yeah. So, um, I want to be like, the lifestyle thing is important, and I've always wanted to, you know, work with people, and I thought like, what better? It's kind of the field of helping people enjoy what they do, kind of, in a way. That's the way I
Mhm.
kind of look at it, and so,
Oh, nice.
you know, if I can help people do that, that just sounds so cool to me. So, and again, I don't know exactly the niche I want to carve out in that field, but
Okay.
executive coaching is one, and that takes some skills, you know, that just coaching in general. And so,
Yeah.
you know, part of being a pickleball coach, kind of honing that, and just, it's really fun. Like I always go overtime. Like when I'm coaching, I'm like, I look at the clock, I'm always late. So I'm always like, go late to another lesson, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was over here, and then I'll go overtime there. And so I feel like that's a good problem to have. So
That
It's a
is.
great problem to have. And executive coaching, a lot of companies are now using pickleball to help their employees network with each other and kind of find that bonding and all. So you could bring the pickleball into the executive coaching as well.
totally, yeah. And yeah, no, it's good, and I'm looking to still coach, you know, like in the program.
Oh,
Hopefully, like
good,
I can continue it,
good.
and so, you know, if I can make that, you know, I guess you know, you never know where like life goes. Obviously, that's
Right.
obvious. I don't
Go.
need to say that, but
Right.
so who knows? Like I think as long as I kind of follow whatever my kind of gut intuition, you know, is about, like, oh, what feels good in the moment type of thing.
Nice. Nice.
I think can be a good compass for me moving forward. So that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
So
Great.
follow your bliss. So you've come up already before even being asked with a number of life lessons that you've learned on the court and off.
Oh,
And
dang.
I
Good.
just brilliant. And I'm going to remember the define your success. That's huge for me. I'm
Brilliant. Yeah.
putting it in my mind. Are there any other life lessons that you wanted to mention that haven't been mentioned yet?
Not really. I'd love to hear what if you don't mind, what yours are, and maybe I can just chime in, or just, I'm just curious, like what are yours?
My biggest life lesson is follow your joy. And that's
Wow,
exactly why I'm doing this podcast and playing a lot of pickleball, is because it brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
that's
And
yeah.
mine too. I mean, we came up with a zillion words that
Yeah.
qualify for how pickleball has influenced us, and that's certainly one of them too. For me, it's being in the moment. I have a tendency to be in the future. And so pickleball has
Mm,
really required me to be in the moment and not be thinking about anything else and just be where I am with the people I'm with, focused on what I'm doing. And that's been really helpful in life as well as on the court. Yeah.
wow, like a moving meditation.
Yeah, exactly. It is a moving
Exactly.
meditation. Oh gosh,
Awesome.
what a wonderful conversation, Raj. I just love that you found the time because I know you're super busy.
That was Shelly's
Um,
doing. She texted me. She was like, "You haven't signed up yet." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I'm like, I want to. I
Bug
really
him.
want to." I'm so glad that you reminded me, because this has been really awesome. And yeah, it's just my
and
lack of scheduling ability, you know.
oh no, that's a good sign that you're that busy and that happy. But how can people find you online?
Oh, so well, I'm teaching pickleball currently, so I have a Calendly link. I'll have a website up pretty soon. It's not quite. Googleable yet, but the bearings are there. And I'll be coaching in the Seattle pickleball, kind of greater Seattle area. So I'll be doing a lot of outside and some inside. But I have a list of like 10 locations. Some are in the Bellevue area, some are in North Seattle. I mean, I'm mobile, I can drive. And yeah, I've just been going to have fun and do that. And you'll be able to, once the website goes up, or if I know you, I'll just send you my Calendly link and you can just book the courts or book the lesson if you want. And I update it on a weekly basis. And so it depends. I'm still playing tournaments. So some of the weekends I'm not free and some in the week, but yeah, that's, and if you're ever going to Green Lake, I go to, open play there pretty regularly because I live very, very close. And so I just walk there and sometimes play. Maybe you'll see me walking around the lake if the lines are too long because I don't like waiting.
Yeah.
I'm impatient. Got to work on that.
Are you on
Can I
social
put
media
your-
for people to be able to follow you as well? Do you have a Instagram account or?
I do. I need to put more pickleball stuff on there. But yeah, I believe I'm Raj Chikkalingaiah. So if you can spell that, follow
We'll
me.
have it in the. It's a
I
beautiful
can
name, by the
email
way.
you and, about what that is, but if that's
We'll have it in the notes so
All right.
people can find you. Yeah.
And so can I put your Calendly link on the podcast?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
But you
I'll
don't
do
have
that.
it yet, or you do
I
have
do
it?
have
I
my
do have it.
Calendly link.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
we'll
we're gonna-
put that in the notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be awesome. But that'll be linked to my web. I can just send it. The Calendly link works. So
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Cool. Yeah, and then give us an update when your website's ready. But this has really been fun. Thank you. I feel
Great.
like I've learned so much and didn't even have to pay for the coach. I mean, this is amazing. You gave us so many tips. Thank you,
I'll give you a
Raj.
free
Really
lesson. Yeah,
appreciate
no
it.
problem.
Thank you.
No. Thank you. This has been really, really fun. Yeah, I want to keep going. I wish we could keep going, but
Yeah, I know, right?
I'll let you guys go.
We'll talk offline. But Shelley, I know you wanted to say thanks too.
Yes, thank you very much, Raj. Sorry I had to keep bugging you, but it was
No.
worth it.
I mean, if you didn't, I would have been regretting it. I would have been like, "Oh no, Raj, not again."
And we want to thank everybody. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely share this episode. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. It really means a lot to us, and we just love you guys. Our pickleball community, we are all over the world. We love you, and thank you so much. And we look forward to a new conversation next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you love our podcast, we'd be so grateful if you'd take a few seconds to follow or subscribe to Life Lessons from Pickleball. This ensures you'll never miss an episode and helps us continue these wonderful conversations.
On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, go to the show page and tap the follow button in the top right corner. And on YouTube, click the subscribe button under any of the episodes.
Thanks so much. Hope to see you on the court.